Hey there, soccer fans. Welcome back to House on the Pitch. I'm your host, Tom House, and today we're kicking off a special series. For the next 5 episodes, we're going to do a high-level breakdown of all the MLS teams in the league, covering 6 teams per episode. Today, we're diving into the West Coast, talking about the incredible MLS teams that have made their mark on the league. We've got the history, the drama, the rivalries, and of course, the stars. I'm talking about the LA Galaxy, LAFC, San Jose Earthquake, Portland Timbers, Seattle Sounders, and Vancouver Whitecaps. So whether you're a diehard fan or just getting into the game, stick around. We'll chat about everything from their traditions to what they've got lined up for 2025. If you have any questions or comments, email us at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Now lace up your boots and let's take the pitch.
That's astonishing. It's absolutely world class.
All right, let's kick off with our first club of this series, and that's going to be the LA Galaxy, a club that's basically a living legend in MLS. They're one of the league's original 10 teams, kicking things off in 1996, and they've been setting the bar high ever since. The Galaxy are based out of the greater Los Angeles areas, and their name, it's basically a nod to the Hollywood stars. It's pretty fitting, right? In the early days, they played their home games in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, but since 2003, they've made Dignity Health Sports Park their home in Carson as their fortress. And this team's got history. They've won record 6 MLS Cups, plus a ton of other trophies like the Supporters Shield and US Open Cups. And they're just one of 3 American clubs to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And of course, you can't talk about LA Galaxy without mentioning the stars that have suited up for them. You've got David Beckham, Landon Donovan, Robbie Keane, Abramovich. The list goes on and on and on. There's a lot of star power that's come through LA Galaxy. But another thing you got to talk about when you talk about LA Galaxy is the rivalries, and they're just as iconic. The California Classico with the San Jose Earthquakes and El Tráfico against LAFC, hometown rival. This club, it's a club that's always been about making headlines, whether it's breaking records or bringing in global superstars. They're not just a part of MLS history, they really are MLS history. So diving in a little bit deeper now, the leadership and ownership, their head coach going into the 2025 season now is going to be Greg Vanney. And you know, the guy's been around the block in MLS. He's got a history of building strong squads and an emphasis on possession and tactical flexibility. That's something that could really make them dangerous going into next year. Now, ownership-wise, the Galaxy are part of the Anschutz Entertainment Group, the AEG. And if you're not familiar, AEG's been heavily involved in sports and entertainment worldwide. They're one of those powerhouses that make things happen, which, you know, it kind of explains a lot about the Galaxy's big-name signings over the years. Now, jumping back into some of the star players, I talked about Beckham and Keane, and Donovan. Ricky Puig, one of the stars that we have right now for LA Galaxy. You might remember him. He was actually the star from the championship game they had this past year. He wasn't playing because he had an injury, but absolute star quality. He's pulling the strings in the midfield with a classic Barcelona flair. And then you also got Doug Costa. When he's on, man, he is really electric on the wings. And you can't really sleep on Javier Chicharito Hernandez. Sure, I give this credit. Like, injuries have been a thing for him, but if he's fit, he's one of the most clinical finishers in the league. Now, where do the LA Galaxy play? LA Galaxy, they play at Dignity Health Sports Park, which is it's technically in Carson, California, so it's just south of LA, not actually in LA. It's got a capacity of 27,000. It's one of the most intimate yet energetic stadiums in MLS, and the fans there, they bring it every single match day. Plus, the stadium itself, it has some really great sight lines. So wherever you sit in the stadium, it's like you're right there in the action. And the colors and logo for the LA Galaxy, the branding, it's pretty sleek. It's got they're rocking those iconic blue and gold colors, and they got their logo. Yeah, it's clean. It's got that star power, that star in the center representing their dominance in the MLS. But no really major recent updates lately, but why fix what's not broken, right? Moving on and changing gears a little bit, the tradition and culture of the LA Galaxy. So the Galaxy, like many teams in the MLS, they have a lot of passionate supporters in the league and in this club. So two of the big ones that stand out to me are the Angel City Brigade and the LA Riot Squad, the LARS. These troops, though, they bring energy, the noise, and honestly, a bit of intimidation. And for any team brave enough to step into Dignity Health Sports Park, it's a tall order to fill, to step into that stadium and listen to those fans for 90 plus minutes. So starting off, the Angel City Brigade, or ACB, is the heartbeat of the stadium. These guys go all out, standing and singing for a full 90 minutes, so no matter what. You'll find them packed into the section 121 with their banners, the elaborate tifos, and songs that echo the love that they have for the team and their city. They got this one chant, and I'm definitely not going to sing it, but it's blue, white, and gold, the color that my blood shall always flow. And this is great to see. It's kind of cool to see the clubs adopt these kinds of traditions from the fans. What's cool about ACB is how they mix the kind of the Latin American flair with a touch of European supporter style to create something that's pure Los Angeles. They're a reflection of the city's diversity, pulling friends from every corner of Southern California, whether you're rolling up in a BM or hopping off the bus. For them, it's just all about representing LA. And the other one is the LA Riot Squad, the LARS. A whole vibe of their own, right? These guys are like soccer meets party. And fun fact, the group started with a keg. This is actually kind of an awesome story. So back in 2001, after a brutal loss to San Jose, the Galaxy goalkeeper, Kevin Hartman, challenged some of the fans to start a new supporters group. So the deal was, if they could rally 100 people, he promised to buy them a keg. Spoiler alert, they nailed it. Since then, LARS has been the Galaxy's most irreverent and sort of edgy supporters group. They call themselves a drinking club with a soccer problem, and honestly, it kind of tracks. Whether it's awarding a growler of beer to the man of the match or pulling off cheeky tifo displays, they bring a wild, lighthearted energy that's so uniquely LA that they even have a tradition called the Riot Squad shot after goals. So they actually down shots in the stands after a goal is scored. And it's as wild as it sounds. But don't let the party vibes fool you. Both of these groups are deeply devoted to LA Galaxy, whether it's ACB pouring hours into crafting displays or LARS showing up with their signature brand of humor and passion. These supporters, they bleed blue, white, and gold. Together, they've created fan culture that's dynamic and unforgettable as the city that they represent. Moving on from the fan culture a little bit and stepping into the rivalries. So there's El Tráfico. So that's one of the biggest ones. It's one of my favorite ones. El Tráfico is the rivalry with LAFC. This isn't just a soccer game. It's a full-on city clash. And the Galaxy and LAFC fans have this, it's kind of this love-hate thing going on where every match feels like it's got a trophy on the line. It's the kind of rivalry that makes you cancel plans to watch, Easily one of the best rivalries in the league. So looking ahead at 2025, what's up for the LA Galaxy? Well, they just came off a championship win, obviously, and every season has its up and down. So what does a championship team do to continue this momentum going into the next season? I think Vanny, their coach, they have the pieces in place, and it's just about putting it all together. If Puig, he can stay hot, Chicharito stays healthy. If they both stay healthy, they'll be dangerous. And keep an eye on some of the academy kids, like all MLS teams. Keep an eye on the academy kids breaking through. Those youngsters, they could really shake things up. So that's LA Galaxy for you. The first club that we're going to talk about in our series. They've got history, they've got passion, and if they can pull this all together, they put it all together this season. Yeah, I think they go really far. What do you guys think? Galaxy fans, are you hyped up for this season? Let me know. Let us know on houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com. All right, let's move on to our next club. Let's talk about Los Angeles FC, better known as LAFC. These guys are one of the MLS's newer teams, founded in 2014, but they've wasted no time in making waves. They've officially hit the pitch in 2018 and have already racked up trophies and turned heads across the league. Based in sunny Los Angeles, California, LAFC plays their home games at the sleek BMO Stadium in Exposition Park. And here's a fun twist. They're not just backed by your typical owner. No. They have some serious star power with part owners like Will Ferrell, Mia Hamm, and Magic Johnson. Talk about bringing in that Hollywood money. In their short history, LAFC has grabbed attention of, they've grabbed the Supporters Shield and MLS Cup in 2022, and their first U.S. Open Cup in 2024. Plus, they made an impressive runs in the CONCACAF Champions League. Not bad for a club that's barely been around for a decade, right? The bottom line, LAFC is a team that's quickly becoming a powerhouse, and they're just getting started. So going back now, the ownership and leadership for the team in 2025, their head coach is going to be Steve Cherundolo. Now, Steve's got this cool, calm approach to the game, and he's big on building from the back and controlling possession. He led them to some incredible heights, and honestly, he's one of the top coaches to watch this year. And ownership-wise, as mentioned, they have a powerhouse lineup. It's like a Hollywood red carpet up in there with Farrell and Mia Hamm, Magic Johnson. They really leaned into making LAFC more than just a team. It's like a cultural phenomenon. Now, going into some of the players, there's Carlos Vela. Yep, he's still the guy. Even as he gets older, his left foot is pure magic, and he's a game changer. And Dennis Bouanga, man, he really is a guy that can tear apart a defense with his pace. And let's not forget Sanchez, who's the midfield engine. He's not flashy, I'll give it that, but he's got the glue that holds it all together. As mentioned before, LAFC, they play at BMO Stadium, and it's right in the heart of LA. Unlike LA Galaxy, who's just a bit south of that, they're in the BMO Stadium, and it's a sleek, modern stadium that has this insane atmosphere. It holds around 22,000 fans, and trust me, when the 3252 supporters section gets going, the place feels like it's about to explode. Plus, there's this super cool thing they do with the Falcon. Yeah, they have a Falconeer who flies a bird across the field before matches. It's kind of like Game of Thrones meets soccer. Now, the team colors, they have the black and gold, which it's kind of a classy look for a logo. Their logo is sharp, and it has those wings that pay tribute to the city's history. It's kind of this bold, it's clean, and it screams, "We mean business," kind of a logo. And I love it. I think it's a great logo for a new club. Now, going back to some of the traditions and culture, because it's something that is truly special at LAFC, the 3252 is LAFC's heartbeat. It's not just a fan section, it's the lifeblood of the club. It's this independent supporters union made up of over a dozen supporters groups like the Black Army 1850, District 9 Ultras, and the Cuervos, as well as countless passionate fans. An individual, what unites them all? It's this pure, unfiltered love of LAFC and a mission to make every match feel electric. On game days at BMO Stadium, the 3252 bring the atmosphere. It's 90 minutes of chanting, singing, flag waving, drum beating. It's not just about watching the game, it's about kind of living that and feeling it. They create this environment that's it really is insane, inclusive, and impossible for visiting teams to ignore. It's all about the unity and diversity. Another melting pot of voices that come together for the black and gold. So the Black Army, this is Black Army 1850. They're kind of known for their fierce independence and dedication to community service. These supporters wear the working class roots. They are the working class roots proudly, and they represent authenticity at its core. Next up, there's the District 9 Ultras. You might know that Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, they also have their own club of the Ultras. But for these folks, soccer's about passion and family. They bring the city's diversity into their ranks, channeling love for the game through respect and commitment to the community. And then the Cuervos, they are the laid-back group from San Fernando Valley. They quickly become a staple in LAFC support scene. Their energy on match day is infectious, and they sing alongside the other groups, creating one unified wall of sound. Now, going back to the Falcon ritual, it's a pre-match tradition kind of like no other. Then, if you haven't seen it in action, you're missing out. Before each match, the honorary Falconer steps up to release one of LAFC's trained Falcons for its flight. This isn't just a cool show, though. It's undeniably pretty cool. The Falcon represents the team's style of play. Fast, aggressive, relentless. The Falcon flight ends when it's diving for a lure that features the crest of the opposing team. Kind of a little aggressive, but it's a symbolic taking down of the competition. It's the perfect hype moment for the honorary Falconer. And there's been different honorary Falconeers or Falconers that LAFC has used. And Will Ferrell has been one. Mia Hamm has been one. The local heroes have all done this. First responders, and they've used educators before. Different people get to kind of have this honor, this pre-match honor. And it's just another one of those things that bring people together. So whether it's the unrelenting chance of the 3-2-5-2 or the majestic Falcon flight, LAFC's culture is about connection between the players, the fans, the city of Los Angeles. It's not just about soccer. It's about a movement, a vibe that pulls you in and doesn't let go. Even if you haven't been to a match at BMO Stadium, you know exactly what I mean. It's pretty common for a lot of clubs out there. Now, talking about LAFC, and I've talked about it in the last segment, LAFC has El Tráfico, the rivalry with LA Galaxy, and that's more than just a match, but it's for the soul of Los Angeles. These games, again, are high energy, high stakes, and it's something that's downright chaotic. It's one of the best rivalries, again, in MLS, no question. So looking ahead at 2025 shaping up big for LAFC. They're bringing back a solid core, and with Cherundolo at the helm, you can bet that they'll bring a mix of trophies in again. If they can tighten up their defense and keep the stars firing, they'll go really far this season. So, LAFC fans, what do you think? Is this the year they add more hardware to the cabinet, or are they still missing a few pieces? Let us know. Let us know what's on your mind. houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com. All right, let's dig a little bit deeper into the history of the San Jose Earthquakes, or as fans affectionately call them, the Quakes. These guys are soccer pioneers in more ways than one. Not only were they among one of the MLS's, the Major League Soccer's original teams, but their roots go way back to even before the league's founding. Earthquakes' name actually first popped up in North American Soccer League, that's the NASL, back in 1974. They hosted some absolute legends of the game, like George Best, and they even squared off against the likes of Pele. Talk about star power lighting up San Jose sky. But the league itself, the NASL, the Quakes, didn't last forever. Still, the love of soccer in San Jose never went away. Fast forward to the MLS era. Originally, this team kicked things off at San Jose Clash. So many people don't know this. They were originally San Jose Clash, and then in 1996, and they didn't waste any time making history there. Their very first MLS game, that was a Clash versus DC United, and San Jose came out on top thanks to Eric Winalda scoring the first ever MLS goal. In that match, it was played in front of a packed Spartan Stadium with over 31,000 fans in attendance. Pretty epic for a league that was just getting started. 31,000 is a big number for an early season MLS team. And now by 1999, the team ditched the Clash, and they reclaimed their old identity as the Earthquakes. A move that instantly reconnected them with local fan history. Then, the early 2000s, which was a golden era for the Quakes, players like Landon Donovan leading the charge. They won the MLS Cup in 2001 and 2003, taking down rivals, creating some pretty unforgettable moments. And one of the wildest, this is one of my favorite stories for a playoff run, the 2003 playoffs against the LA Galaxy. San Jose came back from a 4-0 deficit, 4-0, on aggregate to win 5-4, arguably one of the best and greatest comebacks in MLS history. And as we all know, it's very, very difficult to score goals in soccer, whether that's here in the US or overseas in Europe. It's a tough game to score goals in. So coming back from a 4-0 deficit is quite an accomplishment. But it hasn't always been smooth sailing. The Quakes faced one of the most dramatic twists in MLS history when in 2005, the team ownership moved operations to Houston. And that's when they created the Houston Dynamo. San Jose fans were heartbroken, but MLS promised that Earthquake's legacy, including their names, colors, trophies, would stay in San Jose, waiting for them to return. And they did. In 2008, the Earthquakes were reborn under new ownerships, and they had their ups and downs since then, but they managed to carve out more iconic moments. In 2012, that season was a standout year. It was dubbed the Goonies Never Say Die era. Pretty good name, actually, where they made a habit of pulling off dramatic last-minute wins. The rallying cry, inspired by the classic movie The Goonies, became the perfect symbol of their never-quit attitude. That year, they snagged the Supporter Shield and set a new bar for excitement in MLS. These days, they play at PayPal Park. That's where their home is. And it's a soccer stadium that was built in 2015. It's a big step up from their earlier venues. It's modern, intimate, and fun fact, it actually has the largest outdoor bar in North America. It's perfect for soaking up the LA or the California sunshine and some of the soccer vibes. The Quakes are more than just a soccer club, though. They're a piece of Bay Area sports history, bouncing back time and time again and always giving their fans something to cheer about. Whether it's fiery rivalry with the LA Galaxy and California Classico or legacy moments in LA and MLS history, they remain a cornerstone of the league. So back to the leadership. So for the 2025 season, their head coach is Luchi Gonzalez. Luchi's all about developing talent and creating a team that's super disciplined and hard to break down. It's like he's building a team with grit, you know? And as for ownership, they're run by John Fisher. And if you're not unfamiliar with him, he also has a hand in the Oakland A. Fisher's been with the team since 2008, and the fans have a bit of mixed feeling about his leadership. But in fairness, he's kept the club steady over the years-ish. Now, some of the star players, Christian Espinoza, you can't ignore the name. He's been lighting it up on the wing. His speed, creativity, it's something that defenders really don't like facing. They don't like facing him. And then there's Jackson Ewell in the midfield. One of those midfielders that for this team kind of just makes everything tick. And then there's Cade Cowell. He's a young kid. He's really exciting to watch, though. He's got crazy potential, and he's already on the radar for a lot of really, really big things. So, again, the Quakes, they play at PayPal Park. It's got this super cool open-air design that holds about 18,000 fans, so about an average size for an MLS exclusive stadium. And like I mentioned, they do have that largest outdoor bar in North America. So if you're grabbing a drink while you watch, that's the place to be. It's a place to go grab a beer and watch a great match. The colors are blue and black with a little touch of red on the top right. And the logo has this fault line design that ties into San Jose's history with the Quakes. It's subtle, but it's strong. It's a good logo. It's not my favorite logo for all the MLS leagues out there. And Quake sometimes makes me feel like you need to have a bowl of Quaker Oats. That's what I've heard from other people as well. But they're doing some good things with their branding and their stadium and their star players. So when it comes to the fan culture, the San Jose Ultras set the bar high. This is one of their clubs or one of their affiliates with the San Jose Quakes. They're not just fans, they're family and dedicated supporters who bring unmatched energy and pride to every match. Known for their chants, the flags, the tifo displays, the Ultras keep PayPal Park buzzing for the full 90 minutes. So it's rooted in European style traditions and infused with Bay Area pride. The group is as much about community as it's about cheering on the Quakes. So you'll find them in section 117, 118, rallying the crowd and pushing the team toward greatness. The Ultras also they're active beyond match days, and a lot of clubs and a lot of following support groups do this. They host the pregame tailgates, and they organize trips for away games, which I think is amazing. And they create an incredible tifo art. In the off-season, they stay connected with barbecues, fundraisers. They do the Academy game meetups, which is always a lot of fun to watch, and planning for the next big season and planning on intimidating whatever venues or whatever clubs come their way to their home stadium. So whether you're a diehard Earthquake fan or just discovering the team, the Ultras welcome new members who share their passion for the crest, the club, the city. Joining them means being a part of something bigger, a community that's always striving to inspire greatness on and off the pitch. So get out there and find them and join up with the group there. So some of the rivalries, now we're still in Southern California area, we're in the California area. And one of their big ones too is we talked about LAFC, LA Galaxy. They have one with LA Galaxy. It's called Cali Classico. It's always been a heated matchup. There's just something about NorCal versus SoCal here in this rivalry that brings out the best and sometimes the worst in both teams. The games are wild though, and it's circled on every fan's calendar. And the moment the schedule drops, it's just what everybody wants to go and see. So looking ahead now at 2025, what's up for the team? They've got a solid foundation with guys like Espinoza and Ewell, but they really need to be more consistent if they want to push deeper into the playoffs, honestly. And if Luchi can tighten up the defense and get the most out of Caldwell's development, yeah, they could go places this season. So Quake fans, how are you feeling about this season? Are they ready to shake things up in the league, or is still a little bit of work to do? Let us know. houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com. All right, let's head on over now next to Portland Timbers. And these guys are like the heart and soul of soccer in the Pacific Northwest. The Portland Timbers are an American professional soccer club based in Portland, Oregon, right? They play in the MLS like all the other teams we've talked about. As a member of the Western Conference since 2011, they've called Providence Park their home. And if you've ever been to Portland, you know the city lives and breathes soccer. So the club itself was founded in 2009 when the city of Portland was awarded an expansion berth in Major League Soccer. The Timbers are operated in the sports community with the majority owner of Merritt Paulson, who helped the team establish Portland Thorns in 2012. Fun fact, the team carries the legacy of Timber name, which dates back to the original NASL from the 1975, early 1980s time frame. So the Timbers have plenty of highlights since joining the MLS. They clinched their first playoff appearance in 2013 and took home their first major trophy in 2015, winning the MLS Cup, becoming the first Cascadia team to do so. In 2018, 2021, those seasons saw them advance to the MLS Cup final again, though they came up short in both attempts, but still some very significant accomplishments for this club. And in 2020, they won the unique MLS's Back tournament, further solidifying their legacy. Now, looking at the 2025 season, they have head coach Phil Neville. Neville is no stranger to high-level soccer. Before joining the Timbers, he coached Inter Miami. He led the English women's national team to significant international competition. He's known for his disciplined approach to the game, drawing from his playing career at Manchester United, where he was part of the legendary Class 92 alongside his brother. If you're familiar with the Neville name, Gary Neville is his brother who played for Manchester United. So Phil's deep-rooted understanding of the game, though, the head coach for this team, the understanding of the game at an elite level could be a game changer for Portland if you can instill that same structure and intensity in the squad. And if you want somebody who has, or a club overseas that has that kind of knowledge and history, you're thinking clubs like Manchester United, Manchester City, Barcelona, Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain. So he's coming in with a lot of great experience here. And then the team's owner, Merritt Paulson, he's been with the club since the start of their journey, and the start of their MLS journey, and has played a vital role in shaping the Timbers' identity both on and off the field. Paulson, he spearheaded the renovation of Providence Park, turning it into one of the league's most iconic venues, which fans love. His commitment to the team's success and his place in Portland community runs deep as well, and he remains the central figure in the ongoing journey. So heading more into the team now, so players like Evander, the Brazilian midfielder, he's one to watch. He's creative, he's technical, and he's basically the engine of their attack. Again, another midfielder who's an engine of attack or sticking things together. Then you got guys like Diego Chara, who's like the heart of the team. This guy's been with the Timbers forever, and his defensive work is just next level. And I've always really enjoyed these defensive players who stick with teams for a really long time and be kind of the player who's kind of the face of the team. And don't forget about Darren Asparella. He's kind of the player who pops up in big moments with those jaw-dropping goals. So the Timbers, they play at Providence Park, right in downtown Portland. The stadium's iconic, and it's got an old-school vibe mixed in with these modern upgrades thanks to Paulson's efforts. The capacity is just over 25,000, so it's on the slightly larger side of an MLS-exclusive stadium. And it's one of the loudest and most passionate atmospheres in MLS. Their colors are the green and gold. Their logo features an axe, and it's a nod to Portland's logging history. It's super fitting for a team that prides itself on toughness and grit. And it's one of the logos the branding that I actually kind of love that with the Portland Timbers. So some of the traditions, like so many clubs, they have a lot of traditions and very, very devoted fans. And when it comes to fan culture, the Portland Timbers are in a league of their own. I mean, if you haven't heard of them, the Timbers Army is legendary. One of the most passionate and active supporter groups in the MLS. Their presence at Providence Park is impossible to miss, really. Hearts on their sleeves and thousands of voice strong, they fill the stadium with songs, scarves, flags, confetti. Their energy isn't just confined either to Portland. It travels with the team, creating an atmosphere that's electric on and off the road, at home and on the road. The Timbers Army turns each game into kind of like the celebration and the love for Portland, the sport of soccer, and their team. It's part carnival, part mosh pit, I'd say, and part revival meeting. And I don't know, I guess maybe partly Christmas morning. The inclusivity of the group is something special. They say if you want to be a Timbers Army, then you already are. Quote from their website. One of the most emotional traditions they have is they sing "You Are My Sunshine" in the 85th minute. It's a tribute to a late fan. It's powerful, heartfelt, a true testament to how much this club means to the community. So 85th minute, they sing "You Are My Sunshine." And of course, there's the iconic goal celebration. After every goal, a slice is cut from a giant log and presented to the scorer. How cool is that? I mean, I think that's a great tradition. The Timbers Army also channels their passion into meaningful work off the pitch. Through the 107 Independent Supporters Trust, or the 107 IST, they support soccer at all levels around Portland, from grassroots initiatives to professional leagues. Their mission is to make a difference, whether through volunteering, the fundraising, the soccer fields or playgrounds, or creating opportunities for local youth programs or scholarships. Founded in 2001, the Timbers Army began with just 8 people, so it started really small and brought the European-style supporter culture to Portland. Since then, they've grown into a massive, influential organization. They've played a pretty big role in the Timbers MLS journey, even lobbying to bring the league to Portland in 2011. The group's passion has drawn national attention, even from the TIFO displays and featuring the chainsaw-wielding Timber Gym to their loud and coordinated fans and chanting from around the world. The Timbers Army sets a gold standard for supporter culture, really. So, whether at Providence Park or on the road, the Timbers Army doesn't just cheer for the team, they live and breathe it. Some of the rivalries that they have, and this is one of the areas of the country that actually has really good rivalries, it's got to be with the Seattle Sounders, though. It's the Cascadia Cup, and it's intense. There's history, there's pride, and the game always feels like they mean more than just 3 points. These matches are a must-win match every single time. So, looking ahead, the Timbers have a lot to be excited about. If Neville, their head coach, can build on the foundation they've already got there and get the most out of their players like Evander, they'll go really far this season. They're focusing on the consistency, and honestly, if they can sort out some of the defensive gaps, they're going to be a really, really tough team to beat this year. So yeah, Timbers fans, what do you think? Is this the year the Portland chops down the competitions and makes a run for the cup? Let me know your thoughts. houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com. All right, we're going to stick close by to Portland, and we're going to talk about the Seattle Sounders FC, one of the biggest names in MLS, no question about it. They were founded in 2007 and joined MLS in 2009. Based out of Seattle, Washington, they carry a rich tradition of soccer, and that ties back to earlier iterations of the Sounders name in U.S. history. From day one, they've had this whole big club vibe, and it's no surprise they've consistently delivered on and off the pitch. The Sounders have been trailblazers in the league, becoming the first MLS team to win the modern CONCACAF Champions League in 2022 and representing the league in the FIFA Club World Cup. They've also clinched 2 MLS Cups, that was in 2016 and 2019, a Supporters Shield, and multiple U.S. Open Cup titles. Their achievements make them one of the most decorated clubs in MLS history. But it's not just about the silverware. The Sounders, they set up a standard for fan engagement, holding records for attendance that are boasting a fierce loyalty of the supporter base, including the iconic Emerald City supporters. With a deep commitment to the game, their fans, the city of Seattle, this club, it really epitomizes what it means to be a powerhouse in American soccer. So, heading into the 2025 season, Brian Schmetzer, he's the guy in charge. He's going to be the head coach of the season. He's been with the team forever as well, which is incredible to see. First in the USL days, and then taking over as head coach in MLS. Schmetzer's all about getting results. He's already won a couple of MLS Cups and CONCACAF Champions League, so yeah, the guy, he knows what he's doing. And ownership-wise, the Sounders have a pretty unique setup here. They are majority owned by Adrian Hanauer, who's been with the club ever since day one. But here's the cool part. There's a group of minority owners that includes names like Russell Wilson. So, Russell Wilson, the quarterback, he was out in Seattle. Now he's for the Pittsburgh Steelers and with the Broncos for a little bit. And artists familiar with him, Macklemore. So Russell Wilson and Macklemore are also minority owners of this team, of this club. And the local connection, I think that's kind of great for keeping the club rooted in Seattle's identity. So some of the players, so you've got Jordan Morris, who's like the hometown hero. He's quick and powerful and just seems to pop up in the right places to score. Then there's Nicolas Ladero. He's a Uruguayan playmaker. This guy's all about creativity and vision. Oh, and Raul Ruidiaz, absolute goal machine. If he stays healthy, he's going to be a nightmare for defenders all season. The Sounders, they play at Lumen Field. It's right in the heart of Seattle, a massive stadium that holds about 68,000 soccer fans. And when it's packed, the atmosphere is just insane. The fans are so loud, they've been nicknamed the 12th man, and visiting teams dread playing there. And honestly, I don't blame them. Now, their branding, it's another really cool logo. I really do like this one. The primary colors are the rave green, Cascade Shale and the Sounder Blue. It's kind of a mouthful, but it works. Like the logo features the Space Needle, and it's changed over the years, and they had different kind of logos. But right now, it's the Space Needle, which screams Seattle. It's very iconic, and it's bold, it's modern, and it really does just fit the club perfectly. Now, some of the traditions and culture for the Sounders, they have a very unique one. And if you ever witnessed it, it's called the March to Match. And if you haven't seen it, you really are missing out. It's an absolute spectacle. So fans gather in streets of Seattle, uniting. And so they unite in a sea of rave green and blue, and they parade all the way to Lumen Field. The atmosphere is electric, and leading the charge, it's the Emerald City Supporters, or ECS for short. So these guys, they've been rallying behind the Sounders since 2005 with a mission to deliver the best support in Major League Soccer. On match days, you'll find them dominating the south end of Lumen Field, orchestrating the chants, waving the flags, and creating all those jaw-dropping displays to fuel the energy on and off the pitch. The coordination and they repeat the chants, the boom boom clap. It's all part of the game day magic that they bring. But here's what makes ECS special. It's not just about what happens in the stadium. They're a community. They have a diverse, tightly knit family, united by love for Sounders. So whether you're in the 300 level at Lumen, cheering on from your couch, or even supporting from across the country, ECS, they welcome anyone who shares their mission. They are 100% member-driven and funded, meaning that every flag, every tifo, every electrifying moment that they create comes straight from their members' passion and contributions. And let's talk about tradition. By joining ECS, you're helping iconic moments like the March to Match, which everybody has to go see. You got to go watch it, at least watch a YouTube video of it. But keep it alive while writing your chapter in their history. Plus, becoming a member, it comes with perks. So you get discounted group tickets to the home and away matches, exclusive scarves, and most importantly, the opportunity to be a part of something a little bit bigger. A movement for equity, inclusion, and unwavering support for the Sounders. A very, very cool club to follow. And I mentioned that the fans actually have a say in the club's direction. Through the Alliance Council, Sounders fans get a seat at the table, a rare and pretty wild example of how deeply this club values its supporters. So whether you've been chanting since the Sounders' NASL days, or if you're just new to the city or just visiting for the first time, make your way to that game. Make your way to the MLS Stadium down in Seattle. Get to know your neighbor, join the songs, and let the ECS show you what it means to stand for Seattle. It's not just about watching the match, it's about being part of something kind of unforgettable. Now, we're going to talk about the rivalries, of course, because the Portland Timbers have a great one with them, and it's the Cascadia Cup mentioned in the last segment. It's always a great line. It's one of these games that's just pure chaos. It's also a bit of heat with the Vancouver Whitecaps, but let's be real, the Portland rivalry is really where the fireworks happen. So 2025, we've talked about the team, the club, the coach, the owners. They got a lot to deal with this next season. They've got a strong group of core players. They have a very proven coach and one of the best home field advantages in the league. If they can avoid injuries and maybe add a bit of depth, they'll go really far this season. I think they'll be one of the best clubs in the league. And honestly, you can never count out this team. They've got that winning mentality. So, Sounders fans, what are you expecting from this year? Can they bring another trophy back to Seattle? Let us know. houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com. Okay, last up today, the Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Though the team officially entered the MLS in 2011, the roots go all the way back to 1974 in the North American Soccer League, the NASL. The Whitecaps were announced as an MLS franchise in 2009, joining the league alongside Portland, and kicked off the MLS journey in 2011 with a 4-2 win over Toronto FC. Now, since joining MLS, the Whitecaps have had a roller coaster ride. They've made the playoffs in their debut season, and in 2015, they had their best ever regular season, finishing with 53 points. 53 points is kind of a lot of points for one team to get in one season. So the club has qualified for the international competitions like the CONCACAF Champions League, and has consistently claimed the Canadian Championship, winning it 3 times, including back-to-back titles in 2022 and 2023. Now, Vancouver remains a team with a strong foundation and constantly evolving as they aim for all this greater success in the years to come. Now, leading the charge, 2025, they have Coach Vanni Sartini, and if you don't know much about him, he's kind of a character. He's like super animated and passionate, one of those super passionate and animated coaches on the sideline. Maybe not as much as Pep Guardiola from Manchester City, but very animated guy. He's all about pressing and energy, so the team plays with a lot of fire. Ownership-wise, It's kind of a big moment right now for the Whitecaps. The club's ownership group announced that they're actually looking to sell. Kind of a sad thing. Like to see things progress in the MLS, but they're looking to sell at the moment, and things might change soon. For now, though, the team's owned by a group that includes Greg Kerfoot, Jeff Mallett, and you probably heard the name before, Steve Nash. Yeah, the basketball legend Steve Nash. That's a mix of sports and business, right? It's kind of interesting to watch. So the star players here are Ryan Gauld, and he's a big name, the Scotch attacking midfield, and man, he's got vision and creativity for days. He's an engine that makes the attack go and go and go. And then there's Brian White, the striker, who just seems to find the back of the net at all the right times. Together, they've been a pretty solid duo. Now, the stadium that they play at it's in British Columbia. The Whitecaps play at BC Place right now in downtown Vancouver. It's a multi-purpose stadium, but for soccer, they set up a more intimate configuration. It's pretty neat, and it has about 22,000 seats. And again, it's kind of that typical threshold for stadium seating for MLS games. And the roof is one of the few ones out there that has the retractable roof, which is awesome for those really sunny Vancouver days. So the view, the city skyline and the stadium, it's kind of stunning to see that. And it's a great place to have that retractable roof. The branding for the Whitecaps, it's pretty simple. It's pretty classy. The primary colors are white and blue, hence the name, right? I mean, their logo features the mountains, the waves, the Pacific Northwest, real beauty in there. It's one of those logos that just really makes sense for the location and the region that they're from. Now, they also are a team with some cool traditions. They have their own supporters group, like the Southsiders. They bring the noise every match day, and before games, they got this thing where they have a giant bell rung, and it's rung by the bell ringer to hype everyone up. Plus, they have this tradition called, it's the Stand By Me song. It's another one of those sing-alongs, but those are always really great, a lot of great fun. The sing-along after the wins, which is just a feel-good moment. And then they have their own set of rivalries, like every team does. There's is included with the Cascadia Cup, so that's also looking at the Portland Timbers and the Seattle Sounders, and the Whitecaps are part of that Cascadia rivalry with those two teams. These matches, again, they're always intense. There's a lot of pride. There's always a lot of bragging rights, and the Cascadia Cup on the line, this just brings a lot of intensity. So Vancouver's rivalry with Seattle, in particular, in this situation, in this scenario, it's especially heated, especially since they are both vying for Pacific Northwest supremacy. Now, looking ahead at the 2025 season, maybe they can make a deeper run. We'll be looking to build on their playoff appearances, and we also have that hanging out there, like, are they selling the club or not? What's going to happen with the owners? Where's this club going to go? Are they still going to end up as the Vancouver Whitecaps? We don't know. But maybe they make a deeper run this year. If Gauld and White stay in good form, if Sartini keeps the team pressing and playing with energy, they'll go far doing what they're doing. And who knows, with the new ownership potentially coming in, we might see some big changes that will be positive for the team. We just don't know yet. So Whitecaps fans out there, what do you think? Can Vancouver, can your hometown, can they make some noise this season? Let me know what you think. As always, at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com. All right, soccer fans, that's it for this episode of House on the Pitch. Check out all the episodes for this series where we are diving into amazing clubs in the league, giving you a great insight to their history, what they're all about, their fan base. As always, email us at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com, and share any thoughts, questions, or comments that you might have. We'd love to hear from you. Until then, we'll see you next time on the pitch.